So, for
Yeah.
example, one of the churches I work with is in Austin, Texas.
Mm.
And it's a church that's doing well by a lot of measures that we would say. They're just a good group of folks. But they began to
Nice.
ask, if our church was to make an impact in our community, where can we do that? So they asked these questions to their neighbors. And one of the questions they asked is, people in Austin, Texas love Austin, Texas. They love that community.
Yeah.
What makes this a great, wonderful place to live? What makes this a place of joy and belonging? And people just, waxed rhapsodic about it. And then they said, now what makes it difficult for other people to experience that joy and belonging and creativity that you love about the city? And now they began to say some specific things. Well, the very first thing most people said was traffic.
Oh,
There's too many people moving here, right?
Huh.
The pastor wisely said, that's nothing we're going to deal with.
Hmm.
Like, we can't do anything about traffic.
Interesting.
That's city planners and other people. We can't do anything about that. So what's the second thing? And then they heard there is a growing gap of economic inequality.
Hmm.
And the church said, hey, we've always been a church that's cared deeply about people who are kind of economically at risk. What could we do?
Yeah.
So they began to ask the question, what could we do as a church? And one of the things they did is they actually bought medical debt. There's companies that you can buy medical debt on pennies on the dollar. So they took a hunk of change that they had at the end of the year, like an end of the year offering, like that, a little bit of a surplus, and they bought medical debt. They gave it to this nonprofit that buys medical debt. So for pennies on the dollar, people like literally woke up on New Year's morning and were told, congratulations, all your medical debt is gone because this group of people at this church decided that they wanted to give you an end of the year gift. And it was just we're talking, Marcus, millions of dollars of medical debt disappeared in that society because this church wanted to give us money. Now, here's my favorite part of the story. What they discovered was, they weren't going to go around just getting rid of medical debt. When they told the people in the church said, that's the church we want to be. We want to help our neighbors know we love them. And so they started launching a bunch of creative experiments that they literally call their love letter campaign. We want to be a love letter of God to our community. We want everybody to have the experience of that those people had of opening up a letter that told them their medical debt was gone. What else could we do? And the church just got energized to get creative about using the creativity of their congregation to care about people who are experiencing kind of economic disparity and the notion of economic fragility and sensitivity. And that's one of my favorite stories.
Oh my gosh. That is, I think, one of my favorite stories now too. I mean, what a brilliant idea, which is completely out of the box, right? Usually we think, I don't know, we think of spiritual, religious kinds of things, churchy kinds of things that we might do, but man, buying medical debt. Now, someone had to be familiar with that world, which means someone was using their own gifts and abilities and training that they had and vocation, right? And I imagine they probably had a bunch of other ideas too, and they said, "Well, let's try that one."
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Let's try that one, and then what they did is let's try that one and see what we learn, see what it does in our congregation. So one of the things that becomes important about is they had to move beyond an idea of surviving.